How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel. You guys know what time it is. We're going to be talking about Mantra DAO, Ohm token that has gone down 82.5% just over the last 24 hours. Forget about what's happening as far as the broader market is concerned. We're going to be talking about what's happening with Ohm. I'm going to share my personal thoughts with you because I think, this needs to be, covered and, kind of discussed and, kind of sheds a little bit of more light on what kind of risks are associated with cryptocurrencies. Always why it's important to do diligence research and invest what you can afford to lose. And when you do see explosive life-changing gains, no matter how bullish you are on a project, you want to be locking in profits. But let's take a closer look and really see what's happening with Ohm. But before we do that, as always, just a quick disclaimer: anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So Ohm is down 82.7%. A lot of people discussing, it's literally trending everywhere on Twitter. By far this was one of the best performing assets over the last 4 years. And I've shared on my channel, this is a project that I got into back in the day around 2020 to 2021 early levels, and of course I sold back in like 2021. So of course I wish I held it till the peak, which of course was this year. But we're gonna really shed some light to see what's really going on and what I personally think about this specific move. And again, like I said, this is my own personal opinion. I own zero Mantra DAO. I have absolutely zero in my portfolio. I just want to kind of shed some light on what's happening. So as far as the price is concerned, $1.10, down 82.4% in USD, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. Comparative valuation sitting at $1.07 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume at $1.6 billion. So, a major drop. A lot of people are wondering what in the world is going on, and we're going to kind of go into detail, as to what's happening. So, Mantra, of course, made a statement. Mantra community, we want to assure you that Mantra is fundamentally strong. Today's activity was triggered by reckless liquidations, not anything to do with the project. One thing we want to be clear on is that this was not our team. We are looking into it and we will share more details about what happens as soon as we can. So pretty much saying that, it was something to do with futures trading, which caused such a major, but again, we're talking about billions of dollars liquidated over the last 24 hours. So we need more, answers. This is not enough. And, JP, Mullen posted this. And of course, he is, the CEO of Mantra DAO. Says, guys, I just woke up. I just woken up and I'm just getting the complete breakdown of what's going on. There was a massive forced liquidation from a large OM investors on the central exchange. Still working on the details, but we are here. We're fixing this. Thanks for understanding. So again, when these types of statements have started to come out, you're starting to see some sort of a bounce. And again, when you see such a sharp decline, people, do kind of have that degen in them to, kind of step in to see, whether or not the prices are going to go back towards the upside. But it's much more than that. We need more answers. Like I said, let's continue to take a look at this. So, guys, let's get a couple things straight. This is coming from JP. The Telegram was not deleted. The team tokens are all remaining in custody, verifiable at this address, which can be seen here. We are actively figuring out these massive forced liquidations occurred, and we'll provide more info as soon as possible. We're here and not going anywhere. But in terms of the Telegram itself, there's a lot of tweets going on regarding the Telegram being deleted. And if this is true, I haven't really checked it. Let me know in the comments down below if you can confirm that. If this is deleted indeed, then, this by far is a major red flag, which of course needs to be answered, because, Mantra took over, the crypto space, like, massively over the course of the last, few years, going into crazy spotlight. And now, if this is how things are going, we need to come to a bottom of it. What's really going on? Okay, we get again, I've been in this space for such a long time. If you've been in this space for such a long time, you would remember, Matic, which of course is known as Polygon now. Matic had a major liquidation as well. If you remember, we saw something similar as to what's happening, but valuation was much smaller for, Matic at those levels when that happened. So, of course, you need to kind of keep those factors in mind. But I have seen this happen in the past, but not to this magnitude. You need to see bigger statements coming out And because this is not good by any means. But again, once again, this is the risk factor when it comes to crypto. I really feel super sorry for people that have been impacted by this, because again, this is not a small move. There's been people accumulating mantra DAO from years and years, and we're sitting at literally gold mines of profit. And of course, they have been impacted. And I really do pray that some miracle happens. But obviously, if you start hearing more credible sources coming out, things could change. That's still definitely there, based off of them still having they did a space. So I got to give them that. I got to give them the benefit of the doubt, because the fact that they did still come out and did a live Twitter space, as well as kind of putting out these tweets. But we need more clarity. So if you're looking at the dominance itself, it doesn't really matter what's happening with Bitcoin or dominance. Bitcoin did fall down today. Obviously, we're in a weekend, and we did hear some things happening about the tariffs, but we'll kind of pause on this because it doesn't really matter. Let's take a look at what's happening with the price. So just a few hours ago, I kid you not, just a few hours ago, you know what? Let's go on the hourly time frame. You can see this for yourself. We were sitting at $6.30, guys, and this thing fell. Look at this, guys. Oh, this is scary. This is scary to say the least. So, here we have it. 93.48% drop. That is not a small drop by any means, guys. This required major amounts of liquidation, and to cause this. Obviously, some bad actors involved. But let's see what happens. I feel really sorry for anyone that has been impacted by this. JP Mullen. I've spoken to JP Mullen back in the day. Like I said, I was a very early investor. I can kind of take you guys back down memory lane. Like I said, I did not hold this project. I did end up selling around this range, because I did not have diamond hands. But you can see this for yourself. I was drawing some trend lines back in the day over here. So I have spoken to JP before. One thing I gotta give him props about is he has still stayed here. He interacts with the community. But aside from that fact, when you see these types of corrections occurring, and these types of crashes, and this is not even a correction, this is a major crash. When you see this, you need more clarity. Simple as that. No matter who's behind it. So I really hope you get more clarity. If we do, if there is indeed they were not behind this, and it was indeed caused by some bad actors, when it comes to centralized exchanges, and you're causing liquidation. If this thing, again, I have zero exposure to this, but this thing could recover very fast if that were the case. Let me show you guys on the hourly time frame as to what's happening. So this thing went down to 42 cents. Guys, 42 cents, and it's up right now 200%. So some people are scalping this, and obviously trading this, obviously with extreme amounts of risks, but anyone that did buy this around here is up 200%. So of course there's going to be a lot of eyes on this project to see what really happened, and people obviously potentially thinking that this is going to make a major reversal. We'll see. Like I said, that's obviously in the hands of what we hear. It's kind of going up. It's currently sitting at $1.15. But yeah, we saw this thing go down to levels we haven't seen, guys, since last year, 2024. So crazy, scary times right now. So like I said, be cautious, understand the risks. Obviously, we'll keep you guys covered. If you want to see more of these updates, let me know in the comments down below. I'll keep you guys covered too as to what's happening. Love you all. See you later, my Crypto ZX, and peace.